A couple of things, just since we have a short time, that I'll tell you in terms of the kinds of things we look for in actors, and in my experience in casting a lot of plays, and also Mary and I having worked in a decent amount of TV and film, is we're very interested in who you are. And what I mean by that is what you're going to work very hard at is bringing the thing that all of you guys have that's unique, that nobody can take away from you, is your own truth, your own personalities, your experience. And that's the thing that we want to bring, the truth of who you are to your work. Now, the way in which you do that is you have a technique. And what we're going to teach you a little bit about is what it means to play an objective or an action. You'll hear that talked about. And what it means to bring the truth of who you are. The reason I talk about that is in auditioning, sometimes people will concentrate on doing what they think might be right, imitating an actor that they think is impressive, or trying to sort of come up with a little shtick that they think might be the thing to get them the job. Actually, the thing we're most interested in is you bravely bringing the truth of who you are to the part, so that more and more, as all great actors, you'll see, you go, oh my God, it's so real, right? It feels so real what they're doing, and it feels so exciting and so brave. Well, that's the thing that we're wanting to hopefully give you a start in, even though it's a short amount of time. So what I would do is always think about that in the work as you're getting started, understanding what stories are and understanding what you want to bring to it, because that's really what people are into when you're thinking, oh gosh, what do I do to get a job? What do I do to actually become successful? Well, there's a couple of things. You want to, cultivate your ability to bring the truth of who you are to a part, and get technically skilled. In other words, learning a technique, learning an idea of what it means to analyze a story, learning an idea of what it means to figure out what you're doing. That's the idea behind the actions and objectives you're going to learn about this. So again, to go back to what Mary was saying, part of what we've tried to do in addition to creating our own work, and also many members of the ensemble have gone on to become successful and do very good work outside of here, is to hold ourselves to a high standard of what it means to tell truthful stories and to try to be honest in our work. And finally, and this may be one of the most important things, is how you, there's this word comportment, how you actually comport yourselves within a business. In other words, how you choose to lead your life within the business of theater. Things like being on time, doing your homework, do your job and your job only. These are things that are about essentially having respect for theater as a business. So just like any other business you might choose to pursue, being a doctor, being a lawyer, being whatever you want to be, it's having an inherent respect for that as a profession, as a long profession. So keeping that in mind, because I think what can happen a lot in this business is because people like the idea of being famous, and people like the idea of being on TV or being in a film or being good looking or being at the big party with the famous people. That's all great for a little while, but the fact of the matter is what you're getting into, if you're serious about it, is the craft of acting and the craft of storytelling. So those people, and again, you want to look very hard at who you admire, who you're interested, whatever it is, if the actor, the actress, the kind of film, the kind of TV show, the kind of theater you like doing. You want to think long and hard about that, and you want to try to, in a very practical, methodical way, learn that craft and comport yourself as a business person within that craft. And I always like, and we do this a lot around here, the idea of like making little lists of things you can do to help yourself in the career day to day. I still do this, where make one phone call to help get this job, get my resume together, go out and have this meeting, work on my voice, work on my body, work on my acting. over a lifetime, we're now 46 and we started the company 25, well, I'm 46, we started the company 25 years ago. She's younger. She's much younger. But what happened was all of those things added up after. You guys are obviously much younger than us, and you've got your whole lives ahead of you. But it's a great opportunity to build those little things. It's the thing of practice, right? You know, you practice, you do this, and all of a sudden over a week, over a month, over a year, over 5, 10, 15, now 25 for us, all of those little actions you take will add up to something extraordinary. It may not always lead you necessarily to the goal you have right now. You know, maybe you want to be a movie star right now, or you want to be this, or you want to be that. But you work and you learn and you listen and you figure out what you want to do, and it will, if nothing else, guarantee that you'll have a full, interesting, and active life. And maybe you'll achieve all the goals you have now, or maybe you'll decide, hey, there's something else that would make me happier over here, directing, writing, any number of things. So we talk a lot about that here, too.
How old are you guys? I'm at
14.
16. Wow.
16.
14 to 22?
That's amazing.
We have 2 groups in here today.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is, and you know, because I was there at the beginning, we were in school, we were at NYU. We weren't 16, but I wasn't that much older than you guys. I was 19 when it started. And so it's just back at that time, I just say you guys are at the beginning. I mean, you really want to look at and take seriously what kind of life you want and what you want to create, because the fallacy is that it starts out here. It's going to start later on. When I go to college, when I get out of college, when I get an agent, when I get that first job, it's just not so. It started now. If you're serious about this, you're on that path. Along the lines of what Neil was saying, to David Mamet, we have a program in LA, and he took a class out there, and he handed out a notebook to each one of them and said he wouldn't let them take notes when he was speaking. He said, if I say anything worth remembering, you'll remember it. But I want you to use this notebook for daily practice, to write down in the morning what you want to accomplish, to assess at night how well you did and what you would do differently the next time, and then just keep getting better at whatever that is every single day. And it really does require that kind of daily practice. We were talking last night about, Malcolm Gladwell's new book, The Outliers. Have you heard about this book? The premise is, the idea is that you need 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert at something. And when you track back, it takes 10,000 hours to get good at something. So while you're practicing, really practice in a quality way. And again, that's what we're trying to help you with here, which is how to practice in that quality way, how to make it meaningful, with all of its, again, every week that you're here, every day that you're here, you will be able to end the day and really assess what worked, what didn't, your successes, your failures, and they're all in. One is not more important than the other in my book when you're in process. It's really about being honest with yourself about them, what you need to work on. Again, one of the things we were talking about here is the skills of analyzing a script and learning the repetition and really getting into the moment-to-moment work. And I believe that and especially for those of you guys who want to study film, I think it's really important to make sure that the voice and speech and movement part of your training is as important as the acting, whether it's film or theater. And you hear so many film people love theater actors. And it's for obvious reasons, because we've trained in all of these different areas. You're not just isolated in one thing. And it's so much easier to do a film performance when you have all these other skills than to all of a sudden do a performance on a stage when you've only been working on one thing. So I say that to say, for all of you guys, because I know it's a whole new world. Our daughter, who's 8, makes these little movies already. And, I know that you guys are in a whole different place than we were when we started, because one of our friends the other day, too, said, if we were 19 years old now, I wonder if we would have had a film company or a theater company. But I encourage you to really embrace both and really learn all of the skills so you can move easily from one side to the other.